presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Kansas City.
Royals baseball comes to you from Comerica Park in Detroit, where the Royals began a 3-game series here yesterday, beating the Tigers and gaining ground in the American League wild card. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. The Royals scored 5 runs in 5 innings against Artie Lewicki, making his big league debut. The Royals did hit 3 home runs yesterday, but really it was their up-the-middle and opposite field approach that got them going.
Yeah, and you know, that's hard to do. A typical batter in the major leagues, he wants to pull the ball when it's coming at him. But to have the ability to wait till the ball travels deep towards the catcher's glove allows the hitter to use the whole field. And that's how you hit for a higher average. You use the whole field, I guarantee you, your batting average is going to be 300. Now, Melky, that's a beautiful swing. That was a run productive swing there. Knocked in a couple big runs. Look at Moose again going to left field. These guys are attacking the ball where it's pitched. That's the key.
The numbers say that Eric Hosmer is the best in the major leagues hitting to the opposite field, and he is a dangerous hitter in Detroit. Royals baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. Hud, let's look at our Kubota power stats for tonight.
I think we should, especially when you got a bus driver like that swinging the shillelagh. The lumber, whatever you want to call it, Haas has got it and it's working. He's hitting the ball where it's pitched. Look what he's done here last 2 games at Comerica. Oh, man, is he sizzling right now. And I'm telling you, he's got more left. He's got 2 more games left here before next season.
Royals will see Anibal Sanchez tonight. Jason Vargas pitches for the Royals. Royals and the Tigers. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. The Royals have played 33 game series this year, and game one has been very important. When they win game one, they've won 14. When they lose game one, they've lost 13 of those 3 game series. The Royals won yesterday 7-6. Jason Vargas gets another shot as a career high 15 wins tonight against the Tigers. Royals batting practice today, but mostly clear at the moment. Few dark clouds overhead, but the tarp is rolled up and covered up, and we will start on time. 66 degrees, and the Royals will begin 2.5 games back in the wild card, hoping to pass Texas, Baltimore, Los Angeles, and Minnesota for that second spot. And Ned Yost goes with the same lineup tonight that scored 7 runs on 16 hits yesterday with 3 home runs. And we'll see how they do tonight against Anibal Sanchez, who has given up a lot of home runs, 23 in 77 innings.
Yep. You know, their starting rotation has been depleted a little bit. Anibal's going to do the best he can. His ERA is close to 7. But he's up in the zone. First pitch, man, Whitley almost got it.
Royals put the pressure on Artie Lewicki, who was making his big league debut yesterday by getting the leadoff man on in the first 4 innings. And Whit Merrifield opened the game with a single yesterday. He stole a base and scored a run, and ended up with 2 runs scored yesterday.
One of the reasons his ERA is up is all of his pitches are up. And so when you're elevated, it's easier for the batter to put the ball in play. Doesn't have a strong arm as far as velocity goes. Going to average just right at 90, maybe 89.
2-2 on Whit. Our Toyota League leaders. This is a spot where a pitcher never wants to be. Highest ERA. This is in the major leagues. Only Chris Tillman has a higher ERA than Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez may have blocked it with his foot, and then he throws it away. And a heads-up play by the right fielder Presley. If Presley does not hustle over from right, Merrifield's at third and nobody out.
Kevin Durant Long time head athletic trainer out there right away. Let's see where it hit him. Oh, got him on the outside of the shin, maybe above the ankle. And had plenty of time to get the out. And, wow. The throw didn't look to me like it was that bad. Hicks over there at first base just couldn't catch it, couldn't glove it.
Going to call it a single and an error. As Sanchez tries to shake off the sting of that ground ball, and he will not be able to continue without at least throwing a couple of pitches.
Yeah, and you can see where the ball bounced. That tells you how squarely it struck the player. If it bounces back towards where it came from, not good. If it glances off of him and bounces to an infielder, that's a little different story. This is the manager's worst nightmare. 5 pitches.
This conversation comes up every now and again with Ned Yost when we're discussing pitching changes and all the preparation that goes in before the game even starts. And one scenario that Ned always brings up: what do you do if your starter gets hit by a line drive in the first inning? There has to be a worst case scenario plan in place. And Brad Ausmus, whose team is 21 games below 500, if that's not a worst case scenario, this is, as he has to pull someone out of the bullpen with a runner at second base and nobody out in the top of the first inning. This is Miles J, who will be facing the Royals for the first time. So a Chevy call to the bullpen, 1 batter into the game. Biggest problem this year has been pitching. They have the highest ERA in the American League, and now Anibal Sanchez, whom the Royals know a lot about, gives way to Miles J with a runner at second base and nobody out in the top of the first inning. And he is coming off of his big league debut on Saturday against the Indians, where he went 3 1/3 innings and gave up no runs on 2 hits.
Surprise, surprise. When the phone rings down there, you never know. Guys were on the edge of their seats, but Miles haven't had a chance to get nervous. Now they're all studying up. This could be a break for the Tigers. Sanchez was the guy that the Royals wanted. He's close to a 7 ERA. Many of the Royals hitters had seen him before. And now Whitley put him out first after 5 pitches. This could be a break. We'll see.
Witt hit a ground ball off of Sanchez's leg. Sanchez threw it away, and that's how Witt got to second base.
Wow. You know, the game is amazing. You never know what's going to happen in the course of a baseball game. And when that phone rang down there, I guarantee you that a lot of those Tigers were a little bit tight.
Miles J, we can tell you, is from the Blue Jays organization, and then he bounced around a lot in a short period of time. Drafted in 2010, he was traded to the White Sox in 2012, traded to the Rangers in 2013, and then traded to the Tigers in 2016. And last year he led all Tigers minor league pitchers with 135 strikeouts. So there's a little background on Miles J from Fayetteville, Georgia, and he had committed to Kennesaw State in Georgia before signing with the Blue Jays. And now HUD will tell you everything else you need to know about Miles J.
You guys covered him up real good. Way to be ready, partner. That's good. Now 90 to 93 with his heater. Okay, not overpowering. He's got a hard slider and a changeup. 3-pitch mix, and you could see the Royals hitters in the dugout with Dale Swaim's book of knowledge. Dale's the hitting coach, and they were all studying him, looking him up, because all the preparation they did before the game was for Anibal Sanchez.
And he'll get all the time he needs before he has to throw his first pitch of this inning. MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Royals baseball. You can customize At Bat to stay close to the Royals with home screen icons, live scores, news, stats, video highlights, radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB.com At Bat today to stay connected to the Royals for the next 3.5 weeks and beyond. So Lorenzo has a final word with Dale Swaim. He'll come up with Merrifield at second base and nobody out.
You know, the hitters have a meeting usually first game before every series. Sometimes they'll meet before each game in the batting cage, and they'll talk about that day's starting pitcher that night. And they might touch on some bullpen arms, but not usually. So what this is really, it's a bullpen arm coming in that they're not real sure about, but they make adjustments. And then the key is to take as many pitches as you can, see him, go back in the dugout and say, this is what he's got. It's kind of how baseball's always been.
And if they were to go over relievers this time of year, it would take a long time, because Brad Ausmus has 11 relievers on his roster.
So there's not a lot of time spent on the relievers until they come in the game.
A save by McCann. 1-0 on Kane. Lorenzo had 3 singles yesterday. He scored 1 of the 7 runs. And over his last 8 games, he's hitting well over 400. That's inside. You could hear home plate umpire Corey Blazer. We might hear a lot tonight from our field microphones. It is a modest gathering at Comerica Park.
Whitley's attracted a little bit of attention from Miles J. He's bouncing around some. I think he's trying to pick a jump, get a jump if he can. But with nobody out, there's no hurry in getting over to third base.
2-1. And now Lorenzo goes limping up the first base line.
He's sitting all over 2-0, thinking it's going to be a ball right down the middle. It was. It just hit the top of the ball right into his instep.
Kinsler made a move to second base. The Royals were playing from behind in all 3 games in Minnesota, but yesterday they scored a run in the first inning and then they got 4 in the third. They had a 5-0 lead. They had a 7-3 lead in the game yesterday, and the final score was 7-6 as the Tigers just would not go away. That pitch is thrown away, and Merrifield will be at third with nobody out.
So Whitley doesn't have to worry about ripping the bag off, and Jay, he pulled that big time. So now Lorenzo Cain says, all right, 3-1, easy opportunity for an RBI here if I could just make some contact somewhere in the middle of the field. Be looking for his 45th stake, sitting down there 90 feet away.
Inside for a walk.
Okay, let Melky pick it up. Although if Melky hits the ground ball, he could roll him up and get a double play. Still get the run home.
Tigers have lost 5 straight, all of which have been here at home, and have dropped to 21 games below 500, going into a youth movement, a sell-off, and a season where the Tigers had hoped to win the division. Melky had 1 hit yesterday, but it was a big hit. He had a 2-run double in the Royals' 4-run third inning. He was 1 for 5. He is driven in 5 on this trip. And there's the ground ball. Hicks down to second, and Iglesias did not throw over to first. So a run scores. Usually, Hud, when you see a shortstop react like that, it means he had no one to throw to, but Miles J was right there at first waiting and never got a throw.
Looked like Iglesias was flat-footed, wasn't ready to throw. And for Hicks had a chance at home. He could have taken that throw home here and gotten Whitley, but instead he thought they could get 2 out of it. And they didn't. See him? He's flat-footed. He's not even ready to throw. And he had a little bobble coming out, but he didn't look like he was in a position to where he could throw. Hang with him.
So Melky drives in his 6th on the road trip, and he's at first with 1 down. Eric Hosmer drove in the Royals' first run in the first inning yesterday, and then hit a 2-run home run in the third. That got him to 80 RBIs and 23 home runs. We've been showing you all year how good Eric Hosmer is when he hits the ball up the middle or to the opposite field. 438. But if you just keep track of when he goes to the opposite field, our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard says he has the highest batting average in the American League, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Well over 500 when he goes to the opposite field.
And I'm not surprised one bit. He has that down. His hands stay inside the ball as good or better than anyone. And his bat, the head of his bat stays level through the zone. It's not like he's just coming down and just meeting the ball with a little downward chop. When he starts his hands and they go through the hitting zone, that bat is level.
1-2.
Let's take a look at his home run swing yesterday. Okay, well, super slow motion. Look at that flamingo leg kick. The leg's up. Okay, he's going to load his body like that. That's how he's going to load. Look at the eyes. Eyes tracking the ball. But look at there's the bat head. See the bat head from here to here. The bat head's been level in the zone, and there's a loud sound going to happen. Look at the follow through. Beautiful. See his head position. His head never pulled. Stayed right where he was going to hit it.
Opposite field again, and right at Matuk. 2 down.
Right on cue, wasn't it? Too bad he couldn't have gotten under that a quarter of an inch. It'd have been 3-0. Almost identical, except that was a breaking ball. That's even better. If you can do that on a breaking pitch, that's good. You're seeing the ball a long way back into that. So Haas going back into there and then that dugout over there for the Royals are. He's saying, hey guys, it's got a pretty good little breaking ball, but you can see I just squared it up. The fastball's nothing. We got him. That's what he's saying.
Ball one to Salvador Perez. Salvi tied his career high with his 22nd home run in the 7th inning yesterday. Took him 67 at bats to go from 21 to 22.
Yeah, now getting back to what the hitter that just faced a guy you'd never seen before, when the hitter comes in and he says, "Oh, we're in trouble," that's not good. You don't want to hear that, but that happens a lot. Or fellas, hang with him. That's all you got to say, and you're like, oh man, we got our hands full today.
Two and one on Salvi. I was impressed with the Royals' approach against Lewicki yesterday, and talking to some of the hitters today and talking to hitting coach Dale Swaim, that there was no plan before the game started to approach him that way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Dale put it, it's hard to have a real set plan against a guy you've never seen before. The plan will just kind of evolve as the game goes, but the Royals did not go to the plate just wailing away against this guy making his big league debut. They had a very disciplined approach against him, and it paid off.
Sure did. They took what he gave them. Right here, Salvi's being disciplined. But these guys are the best in the world. They make it look so easy, and it's not. In our open, we showed all the opposite field hits that they got last night, and I told you how hard that was. And you would think that the ball travels as fast as it does in the modern game today, that the hitter could wait till the ball gets to him, but they can't. They the instincts of a hitter wants to jump out and get it. So to wait on it and hit to the opposite field is hard, but they made it look easy.
Melky's running, and that's lifted to right. Presley running across right field, brings it down. So a leadoff single, then an error. A pitcher comes out with an injury. The Royals get a run, and Jason Vargas has a 1-0 lead. Tigers lineup today against Jason Vargas, and one key for the Royals yesterday was keeping Ian Kinsler hitless. He was 0 for 4, and now Kinsler is 0 for his last 9 against the Royals, and that is objective number 1 if you want to beat the Tigers. Hold Ian Kinsler down. Jason Vargas has 14 wins. You know, the question keeps coming up about Vargas in the second half compared to the first. But Dave Island, I thought, put things into perspective for me in looking at his season. I'll let you break down his pitches first.
Fastball, breaking ball, changeup. That's what he features. What did Dave say?
Well, Dave said what Ned Yost has been saying every time he's asked about Vargas in the second half. He said, you know, if you go back to spring training and you tell us that Jason Vargas is going to win 14 games this year and have an ERA under 4 and pitch over 150 innings, they would have taken that in a heartbeat. But he was so good in the first half that it's easy to lose sight of the big picture.
Yep.
As you've pointed out so many times, he only threw 12 innings in the big leagues last year.
Yeah. I mean, this game, it's about stamina, and it's about who can endure. And that's why you hear lots of times guys who've been in the game a long time. It's not how you start the season, it's how you finish. It's who has the ability to be strong enough to finish strong. And that's the tale of a real big leaguer. And when you get that reputation, other teams like that. They want to acquire you. They want strong finishers. Terry Francona and his Cleveland Indians, they've been second half finishers. They've been strong the last few years. He knows how to manage his players. They've been strong. Francona knows all about that. The Royals have been good in the second half of the last several years.
Kinsler lifts a fly ball to Melky Cabrera for the first out.
Our forward around the horn Royals defense. Salvador Perez has started 8 straight games now, and he seems to be feeling a little bit better. You'd think that work like that might irritate him, but he's doing okay. He's hanging in there. Dale Swaim is telling me he's not really finishing on his backside. That's where that injury is, on his right side. So his finish isn't as good as it could be, but he said he's competing.
Mikey Matuk with 1 out. He batted 7th yesterday. And a big curve falls out of the sky. 0-1.
That's a 3-4 foot breaker there. His changeup's his best pitch. There it is. Opponent's only hitting a $189 off it. So he sells it really well. That's what you say in the game. He sells the changeup with his good arm speed. His arm speed is like that of the fastball, so it tricks the batter when he throws that changeup and puts it in the back 3 fingers.
It worked. Did you see Salvi's first target? I mean, he had his glove up above his head. But the Royals wanted to get Matuk on a high fastball, and down he goes.
Well, you know, that's an effective pitch. And you saw the first 2. The big breaker, the 3-foot breaker down at his back leg, the changeup down in the dirt. Now Matuk, he's thinking down, and then you shock him with the fastball up, raises the eye level, and it was effective.
Fouled away by Nicholas Castellanos. He made things interesting in the 9th inning yesterday with a 3-run home run. In the bottom of the 9th inning, that turned a 7-3 game into a 7-6 game. And then with 2 outs, the Tigers got 2 more base runners before Scott Alexander got the final out.
He had a little stick-em issue there. Couldn't get a grip. He's got a good inside-out swing. That's what you want against a pitcher like Vargas. If you're a right-handed hitter and you try to pull him with his stuff that breaks down like that, the changeup away, you're going to hit ground balls to the left side. If you stay inside with your bottom hand and try to shoot him to right, you're going to have some more success.
2-1. High in the air to right field. And Melky Cabrera is there. A good start for Vargas. 3 up, 3 down. Mike Moustakas will lead off the top of the second. The big story. We go to Dodger Stadium, and JD Martinez, who was traded from the Tigers to the Diamondbacks when Detroit was in Kansas City back in July, he hit 4 home runs. And that is not a home run hitting ballpark, Dodger Stadium, especially at night. And the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers 13-0. And Arizona has won 11 in a row. So that was a bit painful, I'm sure, for Tigers fans as their season has gone out the window, and that was one of the players they traded away.
Great inside out swing.
There's a line drive to center field, and a leap and a miss by Jacoby Jones. Mike Moustakas is at second base with nobody out.
That ball was laced. Hardest ball for a center fielder to judge is a ball hit like that right over your head. He didn't know what to do. Is it going to sink? Is it going to keep carrying? Moose got some backspin on it and it went over his head. Jones is a good center fielder, just couldn't read it right. Now, is that his fault? No. Give Moose the credit for that.
And a good swing by Brandon Moss at a fastball.
Just going to say they weren't playing him to pull. Now Iglesias is starting to move. Everybody plays Moss to pull. So now Iglesias just hustled over to the right side. There's 3 men on the right side, just like they tried to play Moose.
1-1 on Moss,
which is a good play. Now, you want the hitter to hit the ball this side of the field right here because you got nobody out. Move him to third base here. So they're defending him the best way they should be doing right now, depending on the situation here.
And there's a ground ball to the right side. Hicks will take it to the bag, and that'll get Moustakas to third with 1 out.
Hey, there you go. You know, a little measly out like that. Look at the love he's getting in there. That's playing the game. Everybody giving him some. And he's saying, really? That was a 10-hop worm burner over the first.
And now the Tigers will try and put a little bit of heat on Alcides Escobar, and they'll bring the infield in at least at 3 of the positions. Kinsler's still back at second. Curveball is inside. Escobar had one of the 3 home runs for the Royals yesterday. That was leading off the 8th. He has been above average, significantly above average, getting a runner in from third with less than 2 outs. You know, we all have a tendency to glorify the past and how, you know, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the situational part of baseball was better than it is today. 50% is the average success rate getting a runner in from third with less than 2 outs. That was up and in, 2 balls and 1 strike. Do you think it in your day was it better than that, or again is it glamorizing the past?
It's a high percentage, although we did play pepper back then. They don't play pepper anymore. We'd break out in spring training and everybody would spread out in the outfield, and you'd get 4 guys in a group and they just throw the ball, and you worked on back control and moving the ball. We bunted a lot then. So I think, you know, I'm not so sure if it was higher or not, but there was more of a focus on that.
Popped up. Hicks makes a play just inside the line. That just seems like a low number. The average
50.
Only half of the time big league hitters are getting that runner in from third with less than 2 outs.
No, they didn't even have numbers for that back then, but I would think it probably was a little higher because we emphasized that a lot more in spring training. They did a lot of those little things.
And now Moustakas at third with 2 outs. Alex Gordon was 1 for 4 yesterday. And a first pitch curveball is whack foul.
I'm gonna agree with you, because players spent more time in the minors then. Nowadays they're rushed, so they're teaching them how to play the game up here. But in the minor leagues, they taught us how to move runners in certain situation. And if we didn't do it, they would come over to us in the dugout and they would explain, hey, this is what you want to do in that situation. So there was more teaching.
Matuk makes a play in left center field, so Moustakas' leadoff double dries up. 1-0 Royals at the end of an inning and a half.
Yesterday we saw Scott Alexander with the save, but you certainly could give Alex Gordon some credit on a save too, with the great defense that he had. And of course we have seen many of those plays over the years, but yesterday definitely is one that will be standing out for a long time. And Alex going back there to rob that home run, take 3 runs back in it. And guys, I had a chance to ask Alex today about his favorite catches of all time, and that might be like asking to pick your favorite kid, because he's had so many of them. And interestingly enough, he ranked yesterday's catch as the 5th best that he had ever made. And I think you guys could probably guess what the first one was, though. That catch in Chicago at the White Sox, diving into the stands. That ended up being his favorite of all time. And if you're curious, for a few others in the middle, he said, and I think you guys will remember this one, his second favorite was when he slammed into the chain link fence in Game 4 of the ALCS against Baltimore at Kauffman Stadium. Jason Vargas was actually on the mound that day. His third favorite was running into a wall. Jeremy Guthrie was pitching at home. And his fourth was another home run robbery in left field against Danny Valencia at Minnesota. Everett Teaford pitching. But he said that one he liked a little better than yesterday because it was just a straight jump up. Those are just 5 of them. We did a whole separate 5 on Price Chopper Royals Live today that he just had done against the Tigers in his career. So many to choose from.
You know, I remember when Alex made that great play in Chicago, but when it happened, we were so amazed that he went into the crowd and made the catch. 2-2 on McCann, that as time has passed now and we look at that, you know, I forgot how he took out that White Sox fan, number 4.
Smoked him.
Which probably kept Alex from getting injured. I mean, if there wasn't a fan there and he hit the concrete or he hit the seats.
Yeah, no, it slowed his momentum down.
That fastball at 88 got James McCann. So he's on to begin the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Mark, you just missing inside, little. That is Vargas.
Ball 1 on John Hicks, who is playing at first base tonight. That's a swing. So says Corey Blazer, the home plate umpire. Hicks had a good month of August. That got his batting average up over 300.
That was Vargas's 5th hit batter.
Two and 1. Change up in a hitter's count. 2-2.
It's right where he wants to place it.
And now full count on Hicks. Just got word that Anibal Sanchez, who came out in the top of the 1st inning after he was hit by a Whit Merrifield ground ball, has a right calf contusion. That is ball 4, and the Tigers have 2 on with nobody out. They took x-rays just to make sure it wasn't anything more than a bruised calf, and the x-rays were negative. And Brad Ausmus had to go to his bullpen 1 batter into the game. Jeimer Candelario. He was impressive yesterday. He was on base 4 times. He was 3 for 4 with a walk. Switch hitter. And Vargas throws a fastball for a strike. He is playing in just his 5th game with the Tigers at the big league level. And he's hit safely in each of the first 4. 0-2. Candelario was picked up from the Cubs in the trade for Alex Avila and Justin Wilson on July 31st. Drilled to the gap. That was an 0-2 pitch. And the two free base runners will come around to score. And now Candelario has hit in all 5 games since he's been called up to the big leagues.
Try to raise the eye level here, and you don't raise it, and you leave it belt high. It's hittable. Vargas got away with it earlier so far in this game a couple of times because it was 5 inches above the belt. That was 3 inches below, so it was hittable, and he didn't miss it. He wanted that a little bit higher.
Ball one on Alex Presley. He had a 3-hit game yesterday. That was as the Tigers' number 2 hitter. He scored twice and he drove in a run. Got it in on his hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vargas hit James McCann to lead off the inning, and then he walked John Hicks, and they have both scored.
You hit a gap in this yard, it's a lot of running. It's spacious.
Ground ball foul. Trying to get the runner over to third base. 2-2 on Presley.
Presley, before they got rid of all their players, he didn't get a lot of at-bats against left-handed pitching. This is just his 20th at-bat. He's hit 263 though. It's a pretty good number. But he's trying to just move him over.
And he'll do more than that. Candelario will score, and the Tigers lead 3-0. Still nobody out. Make that 3-1. Still nobody out.
Look at this. He just feathered it. Look at it. It's a breaking ball. Didn't try to do too much. That's a nice piece of hitting there. Yeah, just kind of threw his hands right at that ball there, and it tried to do that. He guided it right where he wanted to.
The first 4 have reached, and now runner at first, nobody out. Royals fans, enjoy a new MLB.com ballpark app exclusive offer. You'll get half price view level or outfield plaza tickets for Thursday's game against the Twins. This offer is only available at royals.com/ballpark. And that's well hit to right field, and that ball is gone. It is 5-1 Detroit in the second inning. Jacoby Jones goes to the opposite field for just his 2nd of the year.
He made that look easy. And he lets the ball travel. Fastball in the outer half of the plate, 86 miles an hour. And it was elevated, so all he had to do was put a level swing on it and get some backspin, and he got plenty. And after Vargas just cruised the first inning, 1, 2, 3, they've unloaded on him here.
Curveball strike to Jose Iglesias. Home runs have been an issue lately for Jason Vargas. 8 home runs in his first 16. So giving up about a home run every 2 starts. But now they're really starting to pile up for him. He has given up 15 home runs in his last 11 starts, including tonight. Grounded sharply to short. And that is out number 1. 6 batters into the bottom of the second.
No, I was looking at Jones before the game to take BP, and he's a lot bigger than I thought he was. He's a big young man. Good height, strong.
Ian Kinsler flied to right field in the first inning. Batting just .234 on the year. Kinsler is a .277 career hitter. Last year he hit .288. The year before that, .296. But at the moment, he is hitting .234. A little bit outside. Three and 1. Changeup in a hitter's count. Vargas has thrown 42 pitches. He has thrown 30 in this inning. Base hit center field. And even the out was hard hit. Kinsler's on with 1 out.
Makes Kinsler 23 for 63. Raking. Waited for that right there. Now Vargas trying to keep the ball away from Kinsler's power. Middle in. He'll take you deep if you make a mistake. He didn't miss there.
Mikey Montook struck out on a fastball in the first inning. Ball 1. A hit batter, a walk, a 2-run double, an RBI single, and a 2-run home run. And the Tigers have 5 in the second inning. They have 7 in the second inning.
Montook probably said something to himself as he's running to first base after he knew when he hit it, it was out. He's probably saying, catch this.
That didn't look like an adjustment. That looked like he was sitting on a changeup.
Sure was, and he got it elevated. It wasn't right where Vargas wanted it.
Here's the 9th man in the inning, and that's a base hit into left field. They are swinging now like they know it's coming. Trevor Cahill is first up in the Royals bullpen, and he looks like he is just starting to loosen up. That's a starting pitcher. That's not a reliever who is accustomed to getting ready quickly. He's going to have a longer routine as Vargas will face his 10th batter in this inning, and James McCann was hit on a 2-2 pitch. That's what got this inning started, a 7-run second inning.
He's induced 16 ground ball double plays. How about one here? Help him out.
He might have been asking Salvi, what was that all about when I led off the inning and got drilled? Curveball, and it's 0-2. Still 0-2 on McCann, who was struggling to get to 200 when the Royals were here at the end of July. Now suddenly he's a .263 hitter with 13 home runs. It's hard to do that this late in the season.
It is, but he got a lot of at bats. He's healthy, and he's a guy who fights his power. He's a big, strong guy. He's got a lot of power, so he's trying to pull early to impress. It wasn't working, and then he said, all right, I'm going to start going to right, just like that ball he fouled over off the Royals dugout over there. He's been trying to use more of the middle of the infield to the right side.
One hop to Moustakas, and the Royals do not get the double play. They're going to take another look at this one. The feed was not great to Merrifield, so that took some of the rhythm out of the double play.
Haas, he got up on his tippy toe, but I don't know if he came off the base. I don't guess they'll replay it. Yes, he did.
So a good call by Laz Diaz over at first base. And now strike two, John Hicks. He walked and scored earlier in the inning. Oh, and 2. Moustakas right at the bag, on the money, and that puts an end to a 7-run bottom of the second inning. 11. They hit 2 home runs, and they score 7 against Jason Vargas in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Tomorrow on FS1, the Royals and Tigers will wrap up this series. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock, and that'll be Justin Kutcher and Tom Verducci with the call. They're just another Royals broadcast team.
I know, we're regulars,
Justin
right?
and Tom are always doing Royals games on FS1. Thanks for dropping by the broadcast booth. I was saying as the Tigers, and I was saying this sarcastically, but I was saying as the Tigers were hitting Jason Vargas at one point in the bottom of the 2nd, they're swinging like they know what's coming, which leads us into a great story. Every year, 1 or 2 managers seems to say, you know, we think there's some shenanigans going on. Victor Martinez was involved in something here in Detroit. HUD's buddy Buck Showalter's always accusing somebody of doing something wrong. Somebody's stealing signs. But when it's the Yankees and the Red Sox,
oh, it's a big deal.
I mean, that came across on my USA Today app. That's such a big story.
I was in the food room back here before the game. It was on the national news tonight. You think that happens with the Tigers and Royals?
No,
maybe not.
It's like a footnote, you know. So what do you make of all this?
Well, I blame it on that early adopter, Ned Yost, that trendsetter that he is. Remember, he was one of the first to wear an Apple Watch in the dugout. It was 2 years ago. Major League Baseball said we actually have to find out if that's kosher to wear that watch in the dugout. Obviously, it was fine, but now the Red Sox are being accused of using an Apple Watch to help transmit signals.
Merrifield lines it to left, and Matuk runs it down, 1 away.
Of course, the accusation is, and apparently they fessed up to it, that they could get signs off the video feed. The team personnel that monitors for the purpose of replays the video behind the dugout could then signal via Apple Watch to a trainer in the dugout who could then signal to players on the field what pitch is coming. Technology is wonderful, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I know this looks bad, but I mean, come on, this was going to happen eventually, right? I mean, with today's technology, I mean, you go back to Ralph Branca and Bobby Thompson, you know, back in the early 50s, a shot heard around the world, and there was some buzzer system coming from the bullpen. I mean, with today's technology, I mean, someone was going to do something, right?
No, you're right. Actually, speaking about buzzers, you know, there was a third base coach for the Phillies who, during a downpour, actually wouldn't move from one particular spot in the third base coach's box. And the third baseman on the other team noticed it. This guy's not moving. He has his foot planted in one spot. Come to find out, there was a system in which there was a box buried underground that would buzz. There were wires underground. The system would buzz depending on fastball and curveball. You know what year that was?
What?
1899. This is how long this has been going on in baseball, folks.
Wow. Well, you know, another thing, too, as Kane will take first base. Sorry to cut you off, Hud, but, you know, Hud and I, we're up here doing games. You're doing games. I mean, you get that nice close-up camera. I mean, we know several seconds before the pitch is thrown. All right, Salvador Perez wants Vargas to throw a changeup right here. I mean, that same feed is in both clubhouses, and with today's modern technology, I mean, stealing signs. Is there anything in the rule book that says you can't steal signs? I mean, I guess we're going to have to amend the rule book with technology, right?
I think where the Red Sox want to foul, there is a rule. I'm not sure if it's an actual book, but Major League protocol, you cannot use electronic devices to communicate during a game. And that's where the Apple Watch comes in. But you touched on something that I think is really important. You talk about the feed now, because instant replay, all these teams have someone monitoring live broadcasts for the purpose of instant replay. And it used to be it was always on a delay downstairs, but because they want to hurry the replay process, the feed now is live. So you can get the word to the dugout very quickly, while these beautiful pictures that we see at home are available right behind the players in the dugout. In other words, if there was a 3 or 4 second delay, I don't think it would be as much of a problem as it is now. This is going on all the time in baseball. Maybe not with an Apple Watch,
right,
but using the replay monitors to try to steal signals.
And didn't the Red Sox immediately counter and say, well, we were doing it because the Yankees were doing something similar, right?
I know you are, but what am I?
Right, exactly.
That's what it sounds like.
What were they claiming the Yankees were doing?
They claimed the Yankees had a dedicated camera on their regional sports network for the sole purpose of divining the signs of the other team. That camera was trained on the catcher's signals. The Yankees have denied that. Hey, the rivalry's back, I guess, right? It's not just about first place in the AL East. It's about subterfuge and stealing signs.
You give a
Proving once again.
Yeah, you can't
beat fun at the old ballpark, right?
You can't beat fun. Now, I can tell you that from experience, just because you know what's coming doesn't mean you're going to hit it. But a big leaguer, he like his chances if you know what's coming for a higher percentage of contact. No question about it.
That's a great point. That's why people do try to steal signs, because if you can get it and you can narrow the range, especially in velocity of what's coming, much better chance of getting a hit.
Yes, sir. Except, facing Norm Charlton, Norm would hold his split finger, and he's getting his sign, and he would go like this to me, and he'd hold the split finger and say, "Here it comes." I go, now come on, don't throw me that pitch. No one can hit that if you knew it was coming. Couldn't hit it with a bow door. I mean, what the heck? But anyway, it was fun. We used to delay or would relay signs and location out at second base when there was a runner at second, and that's the old school. That's what they did in the old school. But now, all this technology, it's interesting.
One strike on Melky Cabrera, and now 0-2 against lefty Blaine Hardy.
Tom, what do you got on the Tigers rebuild?
It's a great question, because a lot of that's going on in this division now, right? You look at where the White Sox are at, and the Twins are just now starting to move forward with their rebuilding program. It's going to take time. I think it's not as long as it used to be. We've seen teams now turn things around in 3 or 4 years, not as long as it took Kansas City to turn things around. But I think they're doing the right thing, Hud. I've always said the worst place to be in baseball is the middle of the road. In other words, where you are on the winning curve determines everything about where you go with payroll and acquisitions. You're either going for the playoffs, or especially the World Series, or you're not. And to think that you're somewhere in between, that, hey, if things work right, this guy gets healthy, this comes through. No, that's the worst way to operate. And I think the Tigers, like the Phillies a couple of years ago, finally realistic enough to know we don't have a postseason team. Let's start over.
And I guess the Tigers kind of fell into that group of teams recently where, you try and keep the gang together a little longer than you should. Minnesota did that. You mentioned the Phillies. They did that. Other teams where, you've got that dilemma of you've got guys who have won, guys who the fans connect with, like this Royals team. I mean, they're leading up to the first trading deadline. I mean, fans are on pins and needles every day. Are we going to lose our guys? Are they going to get traded away? And maybe you can answer this better than I can, but Melky hits a little pop up into shallow right, and Kinsler brings it down for the second out. Has there, the San Francisco Giants, another organization, I mean, has there been a recent example that you can think of where keeping the gang together has been a good idea?
Not recently. The Atlanta Braves, obviously, that run a 14 straight division championships, but they were able to do that because it seemed like every year someone would come up from their minor league system. They'd always replenish through the minor league system. That's a key. But I'm with you. I think it's a great point about this Kansas City team, the Giants team, and now, as you mentioned, Philadelphia and Detroit haven't gone through it. I know Branch Rickey, I think it was Branch Rickey, said better to trade a player a year too early than a year too late. But when you have teams like these, and like the Royals, where you've got a team that's won, a team that's been together for such a long time, I say you need to play it out as far as you can. And yeah, maybe you play it out a year too long. You almost owe it to the fans to keep what you have, keep that window, as they say, open as long as possible, rather than closing it too early.
Hosmer lined out to left his first time up, facing his former minor league teammate Blaine Hardy, and that ground ball is right to Iglesias, and the force at second base puts an end to the top of the third inning. Tom, thanks for dropping by. We'll look forward to hearing you and Justin Kutcher tomorrow night.
It's been fun, guys. Thanks.
Right. Thanks, Tom.
7-1 Tigers to the bottom of the third. Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By the Missouri Lottery, every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Ford, going further so you can. Tigers went down 1-2-3 in the first inning. They scored 7 in the second, all against Jason Vargas. And now Trevor Cahill will get the bottom of the third.
All right, this is a big opportunity right here for Cahill. Let's show you though what they did to Vargy in the second in the Tigers. Man, they were all over. Wow, this is not pretty. Won't be on Vargy's highlight reel, that's for sure. 7 runs in the second. Just too much at the middle of the plate. Couple of homers in the inning. Ugh. So now Cahill, his job, hold them down till the offense can start getting mountains and rally and come back and win this game. That's his job. If that does happen, Cahill's stock will rise and the Royals will have their 40th come from behind win, which is tops in the American League. Right up there near the top.
Candelario drove in the first 2 of the 7 runs. And that was batting right-handed on an 0-2 pitch.
That's where it all started. Vargas had success in the first inning with a couple of fastballs up on some guys, and then he just didn't get it up enough, and there was 2 runs on, and Candelario didn't miss it. Candelario.
Then Presley drove in a run. Jones hit a 2-run home run. Matuk later hit a 2-run home run. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Candelario.
Cahill, he's got fastball, slider, curve, and a change. That's his best secondary pitch there, the changeup. Beauty, yeah. Candelario's walking back saying, okay, there's a big league changeup. Beauty. Great spot. Cahill, he's pitching for something right here. He's not just out here filling in. He's been working hard, trying to get ready. Throwing a lot on the side. Hadn't faced any live hitters. So this is an opportunity he's looking forward to here.
Presley, at the time, was just trying to get a runner from second to third with nobody out, and ended up with a single to center field. That drove in Candelario, and then he scored on the Jones home run. Two and one. Cahill is making his second appearance since coming back from the disabled list. He was put on the DL on August the 10th with a sore right shoulder. That's the second time this year he's been on the disabled list with a shoulder problem. He was also on the DL very early in the season with low back issues.
He'll throw everything but the kitchen sink. Speaking of that, his fastball sinker. Big curves. Excellent competitor.
That's a 1-out walk to Presley. Hey kids, ask mom and dad if they will sign you up for Slugger's Blue Crew. It's a great deal. This year's membership includes a Blue Crew jersey, a flat bill cap, special edition earbuds, Royals eye black, 2 home game ticket vouchers, and more for just $30. Do some extra chores around the house. Ask mom and dad about a few things that need to be done.
That's right.
And maybe instead of that work being devoted to your weekly allowance, maybe they'll sign you up for Slugger's Blue Crew.
Great idea. Also, do the chores that you're not asked to do, and you'll score huge points with mom. Dad, too. They really get excited when they don't have to ask you to do things, but you see they need to be done, and you do them. That's for those kids a little older.
Jones strikes out on 3 pitches, and Cahill has 2 strikeouts in the 3rd.
Not to mention William or David. There it is. Big hook. Now you got a guy 6'4", 225, throwing a sky hook to you like that from that release point. That's a lot of break.
Iglesias with a runner at first, 2 outs. He made the first out of the 2nd inning, and he was the 6th batter. Grounded sharply to Escobar at short. Under the chin. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2 on Iglesias. A .265 hitter, but he is 10 for his last 19. Salvi keeps it in front of him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You got some immediate feedback on your phone.
I did. And David, you're a sweetheart. David and William, my boys at home, they do so much for their mommy. While I'm gone, I'm telling you, I'm proud of them. I was just having fun on the air, so don't take that personal, guys. Look, I appreciate what you do.
Yeah, they didn't think that was very funny. That
no, they didn't.
We encouraging kids to do extra chores around the house, so mom and dad will sign them up for Slugger's Blue Crew. And you called them out, and they answered the call.
Yeah, they did. But it wasn't the truth. They do a great job.
Presley will round 2nd and go to 3rd. Iglesias is 1 for 2, and the Tigers have runners at the corners.
Change up there. It stayed out over the middle. It was up. And when it's up, speeds that bat up. He pulled it.
Curveball for a strike to Kinsler. He was part of the 7-run 2nd inning with a single in front of Mikey Matuk's home run. One and 1. Cahill appears to be pitching more aggressively with more conviction than he did when he went on the disabled list. Now, we haven't seen him enough to know the difference between a healthy Trevor Cahill and an injured Trevor Cahill, but before he went on the DL, he looked like a guy who wasn't right.
Yeah, because his arm angle was just fluctuating from on top to side to down. I mean, you know, just didn't falling off the mound.
Not using his fastball much.
No, yeah, he was just kind of flipping the ball up there, you know, and he's a tough competitor. Those guys, they know how to pitch with pain, and sometimes they'll overcompensate with their bodies.
Grounded hard to Moustakas, and that's the inning. So Cahill gets around a walk and a single. At the end of 3, the Tigers lead 7-1. It's 7-1. Salvador Perez will lead off, and it's the sweet life with Salvi. Enter to win at Royals.com/Salvi for a private meet and greet with Salvador Perez. You'll attend batting practice and get an exclusive VIP suite experience at the game on September 28th. Compliments of Price Chopper. Blaine Hardy misses high to Salvador Perez. Salvi flied to right in the first inning. One and one.
Hardy's not going to give him anything firm. He's going to try to trick him. It's not overpowering. 86 to 90, and that range was his fastball. Slider, curve, change. 30 years young.
Kinsler races out from second base. One out in the fourth inning.
Got to wait on him.
Blaine Hardy, a 22nd round pick of the Royals in 2008 out of Lewis Clark State in Idaho. And then he made his major league debut against the Royals in 2014, pitching for the Tigers. Mike Moustakas hits a smash on the ground to Hicks. He'll go to the bag unassisted. Moustakas is 1 for 2. He doubled leading off the second inning. Royals got him to third with one out, but didn't get him home. And it seems like so many times when one team has a great scoring opportunity in one half inning and they don't cash it in, the other team does score. But there's no way we could have predicted a 7-run bottom of the second inning for the Tigers. But that's what they got against Vargas. Moss helped get Moustakas over to third base in the second inning with a ground out to first. No balls, 2 strikes. When Anibal Sanchez came out after one batter tonight, Hud, and I told you In the 4th inning, it'll be 7-1. Which team would you have predicted would have been ahead 7-1?
This is our game all the way.
Check swing, foul tip, and the Royals are down in order against Hardy in the 4th.
Efforts to help victims of the devastation caused by Hurricane Harvey by visiting youcaring.com/MLB supports, and that's certainly the hurricane will be on Eric Hosmer's mind, but a different hurricane, Hurricane Irma, as folks from Florida like Pedro Grifol and Eric Hosmer brace for the possible impact on their families. Same for Laz Diaz. Talking to all these guys today, Ryan and Hud, and everybody's concerned. Eric Skoglund said that his brother and his brother's fiance are flying out of the Sarasota area to go to their parents' house in Nashville just to wait it out. Hosmer said his parents and brother are going to wait for now, but they may fly to Kansas City for the weekend. Pedro Grifol said that his dad, Pedro Sr., who's 69, he said there's no way he's going anywhere. He said his dad spent money on hurricane-proof windows last year, a lot of money, and said, I'm going to try them out. But Pedro said the problem is that there's so many false alarms down there that as of Tuesday, everybody's hearing, hey, get out, or you may need to get out. But a lot of people will just wait till Friday. And by that point, it's just mass chaos on the highways and the stores. Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, has got a home in Orlando. And Laz Diaz, think about this, guys, the first base umpire. He said he's worried about his family in Miami, but he's more worried right now about his wife's family, who's in Puerto Rico in direct line, and his family on his side in Cuba. So in 3 different places, possible concerns about Hurricane Irma. Our best to everyone out there.
That's a strikeout. And Matuk is on to begin the bottom of the 4th inning. Strikeout, wild pitch. And Matuk, I don't know if he hit the bag wrong, but he goes limping back to first base.
Got to watch that lunge, that last second lunge, no, because he didn't lunge. Just kind of, I don't know what happened.
What I hear earlier today, Hurricane Irma was a Category 5, highest winds ever recorded.
Yeah, it's
185 miles an hour, and at one point it was the size of the state of Ohio.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it.
Nicholas Castellanos is also from South Florida and played a couple of years in high school with Eric Hosmer. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 0-1. He is 1 for 2 with a single. Matuk is running, and Salvi's throw is a little bit late. So much for limping back into first base after reaching on the strikeout wild pitch. Matuk swipes second.
Got a good jump. He beat it. Fifth bag. He's 5 for 5 this year.
He went around. Laz Diaz makes a call down at first base. 1-2 on Castellanos. Castellanos has 20 home runs, a new career high. He hit the 20th yesterday. He has 10 triples. And we showed you yesterday the last American League third baseman with 10 triples was George Brett.
Yeah.
He had 20.
And I'm not surprised about this young man right here. Castellanos, as big as this ballpark is, but his swing is set up for right center. Now he'll pull every so often, but big gaps here in Comerica Park. Kind of like the K. The K, you know, those alleys are big there too. Problem a lot of hitters have, and I had the same problem. How do you get it to the gap? It's hard.
Breaking ball stayed up, backhanded by Moustakas. So Matuk is at second with 1 out. Castellanos is 1 for 3. Cahill took over in the third inning. He allowed a 1-out walk and a 2-out single, but no runs. And now he'll get James McCann. McCann was at the plate leading off the second inning with the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Vargas hit him with a pitch. The Royals had a 1-0 lead at the time, and that was the beginning of a 7-run second inning. Fastball for a strike.
Got all those arms and legs moving. And you have 4 different pitches from that. Cahill's not easy to pick up.
Merrifield wants it. He's got it. 2 down. And now John Hicks, after McCann was hit, he walked and scored the second of the Tigers' 7 runs. Trevor Cahill was the Oakland A's 2nd-round pick back in 2006. (2-0). He was drafted out of high school, so he didn't get to the big leagues until 2010, and it was against the Royals And Cahill threw his first major league complete game and shutout. High and deep, left center field, and gone. 3 home runs for the Detroit Tigers. All 2-run home runs, and all in the first 4 innings. It is 9-1 Detroit in the 4th.
Oh, and that was just center cut. Like a fastball stayed right in the middle. And when you haven't pitched to hitters in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, you know, that's going to happen.
Curveball for a strike to Candelario.
Game's hard when you're pitching every 5th day and you're in there in the lineup every day hitting. But whenever you're a once a week contributor, once every 7-8 days, as a hitter, forget about it. Pitching almost the same, but the difference is the mountains, the distance is the same. 60 feet 6 inches. So you're gonna at least you know where you're throwing the ball, but a hitter, his timing trying to hit that ball is a lot different.
2-2. Of course, Omar Vizquel is going to make that play
with 2 hands. He knows the importance of 2 hands.
Although he was the best at making the bare hand play that I ever saw. Candelario's down on strikes, but the Tigers get 2 more on the home run by John Hicks, and they lead 9-1. Time for the showstopper, and we take you to Tropicana Field, and this is Lucas Duda with home run number 27. That one off of Bartolo Colon. That's with the Mets and the Rays combined. And there was some drama in that game as Jake Odorizzi, who's really struggled for most of the year, he had a no-hitter into the top of the 7th. Joe Mauer just broke that up. But the Rays have a 2-0 lead in the top of the 7th. So that is good news for the Royals, who are down 9-1 in the top of the 5th.
Ned's trying to stretch Cahill out. They're probably telling him, you know, what his assignment is, if he's going to go much longer, how many hitters. But they're trying to stretch him out so he can become a long man in the bullpen.
doesn't seem significant now in an 8-run game. But Alcides Escobar was a big out for the Tigers in the second inning. Mike Moustakas hit a leadoff double. Brandon Moss got him to third. And then Miles J got Escobar to pop out to first, and the Royals did not cash in that leadoff double. That's a strikeout for Blaine Hardy, his second. However, that would have given the Royals a 2-0 lead going into the bottom of the second inning, and then the Tigers, they scored 7 in the bottom of the second and got 2 more in the fourth. Alex Gordon flied out to left field in the second. Other teams the Royals are chasing. We just showed you Minnesota is down 2-0 in the 7th inning. The Angels will be at Oakland later tonight. Baltimore is at home against the Yankees. That game hasn't started yet. They must be having some weather issues there. Yes, they have rain at Camden Yards. And Texas is at Atlanta, and they haven't started yet. One and two.
There's a lot of time in this one. You know, the Royals have experienced a few blowouts here recently, the last few weeks, but I'd like to see him come back in one of them. Ooh, peck away. You know, start getting some guys on, getting them over, scoring a couple at a time, then hitting a couple homers and get right back into a game, and that'll really give them some confidence whenever they have a bad start.
If they don't, maybe the accomplishment tonight would be to blow a hole in Brad Ausmus's bullpen, having to go to his bullpen one batter into the game. Now it's a little harder to do in September when you have a bullpen full of pitchers.
Yeah.
Fastball struck him out. And now Blaine Hardy, going back to the fourth, has struck out 3 straight Royals. You can get closer to the action at Kauffman Stadium with our Royals Memories program. Choose amongst a variety of unique opportunities, such as a photo on the field, watching batting practice, or delivering the game ball. All experiences are available for purchase each game exclusively through the MLB.com Ballpark app. It was Whit Merrifield on the 5th pitch of the game. He had a comebacker to Anibal Sanchez. It hit him on the right calf. Sanchez took a couple of warm-up tosses but couldn't continue. Little sliver came off of Whit's bat. No balls, 2 strikes. So this is it. The 5th pitch thrown by Sanchez. And he threw this ball, by the way, past the first baseman, getting Whit to second base with nobody out. And then Brad Ausmus had to go to his bullpen. That was his push-off leg, and he wasn't able to get much leverage. Brad Ausmus went to his bullpen 2 batters into the game.
Yeah, and you know, to me, that was a huge disappointment for our offense. We were when I saw him leave the game, I went, oh no. Now our guys got to face a whole different somebody that they don't know anything about, and it kind of threw him off.
Matuk jogs into left center field, makes the play on Merrifield. 4.5 played. Detroit leads 9-1. The bottom of the 5th inning. Get ready to start your day with First Things First. Weekday mornings on FS1 with hosts Chris Carter and Nick Wright as they kick off the day with the latest in sports. First Things First, weekdays at 5:30 on FS1. I believe that debuted this morning, as we've been saying, coming up on Tuesday. Presley fouls it away. No balls and 2 strikes. Nick Wright, I remember when he started at 610 Sports, and he was a big thinker. He was a young guy who aimed high with his goals. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
How long he stay?
Oh gosh, 3-4 years. Then he went on to Houston, then on to Los Angeles with Fox. Chris Carter, I got a chance to watch him play a lot of football when I was in my Minnesota days. Kane runs it down and takes a hit away from Presley. That's the first time that Lorenzo Kane, or Presley rather, has been retired tonight. 1 down in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Man, he hit that ball a long way. It's not a very big guy.
Jacoby Jones hit a home run to the opposite field in the 2nd inning on the first pitch that he saw from Jason Vargas. That made it a 5-1 game. Tigers would get 2 more in the 2nd and 2 more in the 4th. Jones is out on a ground ball to short, 2 away. And now Jose Iglesias. He is grounded out to short and he is singled. Two balls and no strikes. Pitch number 56 for Cahill is hit deep into the left field corner and off the pole for the 4th home run by the Tigers tonight. It is number 6 for Iglesias. He is 2 for 3 tonight. And it hasn't just been tonight. Iglesias, with that home run, is 12 for his last 21.
Your eyes are going to light up when you see an off-speed pitch like this. It looked like it was a changeup. Just sat there in the middle again. Having some control issues. That's right down the middle. Just hit off the fair pole.
Kinsler takes inside, ball 1. There is a big difference between the Tigers when they hit a home run and when they don't hit a home run. Now that's changed a little bit because they have lost a lot of power from their lineup with trades and injuries. Fouled away by Kinsler. But when the Tigers hit a home run, they are 12 games above 500. When they don't hit a home run, they are 33 games below 500. Back through the middle, off the side of the mound. Close and out. Brad Ausmus says, hang on a second. Kinsler walks over to Omar Vizquel and asks him, what do you think? He is tough to tell there, but the Tigers say they will not challenge. But Detroit gets another run on the home run by Iglesias, and now at the end of 5, Detroit leads 10-1. Second inning, and they lead 10-1 to the top of the 6th inning, which is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Chris Ann Golding from Shawnee. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park, Chris Ann wins $200. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Chris Ann wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. We haven't had very large pots in the Sonic Slam inning lately. A lot of home runs have been coming in the 6th. Here's another former Royals farmhand, Daniel Stumpf, will get the 6th inning. Blaine Hardy faced 8 and retired 8, taking over with 1 out in the 3rd.
Sure did. He baffled our hitters, mixed them up, not overpowering. Now you're going to get a lefty here, and Stumpf that's got some pretty good cheddar cheese. Mid-90s. Slider, changeup. Works a cutter in there on the righties. Tries to come in on their hands. Royals just 2 hits tonight so far.
Two and 2 on Kane. So from Blaine Hardy, who started in the Royals organization, to Daniel Stumpf, who did the same. Drafted in 2012. 3 and 2 on Kane. He began his college career at Stephen F. Austin and then transferred to a junior college, and the Royals picked him up in the 9th round. Hit well, deep left center field, and Jones almost got it. Lorenzo Cain leads off the 6th inning with a home run. He is waiting to see if Jones caught it or not. So Lorenzo Cain makes it a 10-2 game. He has 2 walks and now a home run. What a heck of an effort.
Sure was, but 14th of the year, Lorenzo Cain, he got into that one. It had height. Oh, he missed it by just about a few inches. Lo Cain saying, come on now, don't do it to me. Oh. You see the disappointment on his face? Here's a better angle here. Look at the jump. Wow, he came from a long way. That's one heck of a shot against the wall. Wow, he started 6 feet before the wall with his jump. Great try.
And it's another home run in the Sonic Slam inning. Chrisann Golding just won $200, and the inning is not over.
Cool. Some gas money.
So we go back to $100 for the next home run. 1-2 on Melky Cabrera. He drove in the Royals' first run in the first inning, reaching on a fielder's choice. Two and two. Three and two on Melky. Eric Hosmer's on deck. Good swing at a fastball at 96.
I guarantee you ask a major league hitter, would he rather face 95 or 85? He'll tell you, bring me the 95. It's straighter, gets on you a little bit quicker, but the ball jumps off your bat when you make contact.
That'll be out of play. Would that have been the case 20 years ago?
You know what? I think so. I mean,
really?
I think ball.
There was a lot more 85 than 95.
Yeah, there was more like lower 90s. But I mean, most hitters love a fastball mainly because it's straight, and the velocity. Look at Melky. He's got a nice AB going here. Velocity's it's important, but like I said, it's straighter and guys, the ball jumps off it.
That's out of play.
A lot of souvenir balls going in the stands tonight. Okay, the more you foul off, the more comfortable you get. He's getting close.
And he's on with a walk.
Calling all Yogis. Join the Royals for the 3rd annual Yogi Day on Sunday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. This themed ticket package includes a pregame 1-hour yoga practice on the outfield grass, a Royals-themed yoga mat, and a light breakfast at Rivals. You'll also have a ticket to watch the Royals take on the Twins for that afternoon's game. Purchase your themed ticket today at royals.com/themed tickets. Let's have the outfield full of Yoginis.
Yoginis?
Yeah. Come on now. Gotta have you. Even if you're not a Yogini, you could become one by attending.
Will there be some sort of initiation ceremony?
I'll tell Fizz to watch.
Is Fizz an official Yogini minister?
He doesn't know it, but he's going to be. I'm going to put him up to the task. He's going to hold a sign up for all first-time yogis.
Okay, kind of like an altar call.
Yeah. He's going to hold a sign up and say, sign here, and we're going to make him official.
Okay. Fastball over the outside, 0-2. Hosmer has lined to left, so another hard hit ball to the opposite field, and he's grounded out. Our sprint trivia question: name the top 5 active players with the most career opposite field hits. Top 5 active players with the most career opposite field hits. Now I want to say Joe Mauer right away, but remember all the time he missed, about 3 or 4 years on the disabled list. But I'm going to say it anyway. How about Joe Mauer? That's correct.
Wow, how could you miss on him?
Well,
what do you mean he missed? How many years he missed?
Well, he missed 3 years, or he missed a ton of games.
Every hit he gets is to the opposite field. How about Altuve?
Incorrect.
I mean, he should be on everybody's
One
guest
of your go-to guys is on this list. Active players. At least Kevin Cedergren and I were up here discussing the trivia question. He didn't give me any of the answers except for one. He said this is one of HUD's go-to guys.
I got a lot of them guys.
Active. Remember, active.
Okay.
So no Warren Cromartie, no Lance Johnson.
Come on.
No swing. Ichiro Suzuki.
Oh,
okay, that's correct.
Ichiro.
That's not your guy. That's not the guy I'm talking about. No.
Oh, I love him too.
This is one of your. In fact, I think you went to him yesterday with our trivia question.
Don't you know? Robinson Cano.
Correct.
Okay.
We've got 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
How about Dustin Pedroia?
Incorrect. By the way, for those who like to play along with our trivia question, I do not have the answers, but our producer will say in my headset whether we are correct or not.
Mm-hmm.
Candelario makes a play in foul territory, 1 down. Miguel Cabrera. Correct.
Should have known that one.
1 left, HUD. How about Adrian Beltre? Incorrect. Low to Salvi. He is flied out to right and popped out to second. Two and 0. All right, here's a clue. This player is in the National League. Adrian Gonzalez. Incorrect.
Buster Posey.
Incorrect. Was he the answer of a recent trivia question?
Oh.
2 and 2 on Salvi. The answer was, I don't recall. I was thinking maybe Denard Span. Remember Denard Span was a surprise answer to one of our trivia questions. It is not Denard Span. Three and two. Salvi's next home run is going to put him in rare company in a very unique category. His next home run will be his 23rd, which will be a brand new career high. And that would be 6 consecutive seasons where he has established a career high. Stump strikes him out. 2 down in the 6th inning. And now Mike Moustakas with 1 on and 2 out. He is doubled and grounded out to first. Another clue, this National Leaguer is playing for a team we have not seen this year. So it's not a team from the West, and it's not the Cardinals, although we haven't seen the Diamondbacks yet. We will see them at the very end of the regular season. Oh, and 1 on Moustakas. Freddie Freeman. Incorrect.
Hey, we got a woo wrong. Same team, Nick Markakis. That's all I needed.
Correct.
That's all I needed was a hint like that.
That's by the way, that's 2 Sprint trivia questions in a row where our stage manager Jeff here in Detroit had it before any of us.
Oh man, Moose wound up on that one.
0 and 2. Out of way, Jeff. So here you go.
You look at all their career averages, they're all right around 300. Maybe not Markakis. Cabrera's over. Mauer might be over. Ichiro's right there at 300, and so is Cano. There you go. Opposite field hitters have higher average.
A 33 pitch inning for Daniel Stumpf. Hey, there's a souvenir. She hung in there. That ball was bouncing around like a pinball. She stayed with it. How do you get to 34 pitches against 5 batters? Well, you go 3 and 2 on each hitter. And Moustakas goes after a high fastball. The inning began with a Lorenzo Cain home run. 10-2 Detroit.
lineups that Ryan will have in just a moment. But first, our University of Kansas Health System update, injury update. The other day we told you that he had a deep flexor in his wrist, mild strain, but that when it got tight, he lost some control of motor function. Got deeper into the game, it would tighten up. They needed to get rid of some of that fluid. Talking to Nick Kenny today, he said that they have done the best to decrease that small amount of fluid. Worked on the whole elbow, not just that one spot. Increased mobility, played catch today, felt good, so ready to go. Where this game is at right now, maybe there's a chance that he can get yet another day, as Andres Machado has entered for his second big league game. And Ryan, I will say, when you told Hud it's one of his guys on the trivia question, that limits it to about 300 active players. I was thinking Mark Trumbo, if it was pitching, Bartolo Colon, John Lackey, if it's retired, Darren Erstead,
active
on and on.
Player that took Buck Showalter off the list.
That's right. So that's just a couple.
Come on, fellas.
I mean, he's got 20 innings worth of favorites.
Where's all the love? Come on. The players are beautiful, man. I love them.
Joel said a lot of changes for the Royals. Andres Machado takes over with Cheslor Cuthbert at third. Raul Mondesi is at short. 1 and 2 on Mikey Matuk. Ramon Torres, who was just called up today, he is at second base. Drew Butera is back of the plate. Matuk hits it into center field, where Paulo Orlando has taken over for Lorenzo Cain. And Jorge Bonifacio, who ran for Melky Cabrera, stays in the game in right field. So Eric Hosmer and Alex Gordon are the only starters still in there.
And this month, the backup players, they really enjoy opportunities like this to get in games. Now, they don't want to come in in a lopsided, I wouldn't say loss because we haven't lost yet, but in a lopsided affair like this. But, you know, you want to play anytime, whether the other team gets up big or you guys get up big, you want to get in there.
Hard slider for a strike to Castellanos. So Machado pitches his second big league game. He pitched on Saturday at Minnesota, and he had to come on in the bottom of the first inning. Minnesota scored 4 against Onelki Garcia, and Machado, who is making his big league debut, came in. He faced 2 batters and he got them both out. A couple of fly balls. But then in the second inning, he faced 6 and did not get an out. And Ned Yost had to go to his bullpen for a second time in the first 2 innings.
Good fastball Machado possesses, 93 to 97. Slider changeup. After his major league debut in Minnesota, Ned was saying that he was a little bit surprised that Machado was having control issues because he's a strike thrower. He likes to pound the strike zone.
That fastball is at 97. It was also his big league debut. It was a big crowd. I mean, maybe get a little better feel for what he can do at the big league level tonight with a much smaller crowd. Game isn't necessarily on the line right here.
No, and when was it? Like the second inning? I mean, he wasn't ready mentally for that.
It's a ground ball deep short, and Mondesi showing off his range. Pretty impressive that he got to it. Castellanos will have an infield single, and the Tigers will have 2 on and nobody out. Our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms Scott Alexander has 3 one-out saves. August 22nd against Colorado, 2 pitches, and then in the game on Friday night at Minnesota, 6 pitches, and yesterday he needed only 4.
Pretty impressive. No doubt.
James McCann with 2 on, nobody out. Bonifacio is in pursuit, but it's back into the crowd. We were joking with Ned Yost prior to tonight's game and saying, you know, Ned, I mean, the legacy of the teams that you manage. Number 1, defense. The Royals put defense back on the map again. Other teams saw what the Royals did defensively and decided that defense was a premium. And many teams have tried to improve their defense. That's number 1. Number 2, a lockdown bullpen with 3 or 4 guys who are capable of being a closer and making it a 5-inning game. 0-2 on McCann. A lot of teams invested more money in setup relievers after the Royals run. And I said, but now, just think 20 years from now, you're going to be the guy that was first to have 2 closers in the 9th inning. One guy who gets the first 2 outs, and then another guy who comes in and gets the final out.
Did you like that?
Yeah, he thought. Of course, as McCann strikes out, and that's the first for Machado. 1 down in the 6th inning. The Royals want him to throw it off the field, and he will, so he can have that as a keepsake.
They keep track of those things.
Of course, you know, tongue in cheek, Ned didn't want to have to go to another reliever and go to Scott Alexander, but along the way we've learned a lot about Scott Alexander's ability to come into a situation like that.
Sure did. Found out what's in his veins. Ice water. Confidence.
Two 2-0 on John Hicks. He has one of the 4 Tigers home runs tonight. He had a 2-run shot in the 4th inning.
There's no stopping Jose Ramirez. He's homered twice again tonight. What the heck is that? Are they feeding him?
Cleveland leads Chicago 6-4 in the top of the 3rd. So obviously they've had some weather problems, or maybe not. Yeah, 6-4 in the top of the 3rd inning. Cleveland at Chicago. There's a base hit into center field. Matuk will round 3rd and score. Castellanos will go to 3rd. John Hicks has driven in 3 tonight, and the Tigers lead 11-2. That sets up our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. His 3rd 2-home-run game in his last 8. He had a couple of home runs here just 2 days ago that were outfield assisted home runs. Jake Odorizzi lost his no-hitter in the 7th inning, but Tampa Bay still leads 2-0. They're in the bottom of the 8th in St. Petersburg. Cuthbert over in front of the Tiger dugout, and he's got it for the 2nd out. Candelario is 1 for 4. Andres Machado had never pitched above rookie ball before this year. Started the season in A ball. He didn't get to Double-A until the end of July. and didn't get to AAA until the middle of August. And now he's pitching at his 4th level this year.
Yep. He'll find out that there's a lot of professional hitters here that have been making a good living for a long time.
Torres will flip over to Hosmer. That's the inning. Hicks drives in Matuk, and Detroit leads 11-2. Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Thoroughbred Ford. Every day there's a great deal waiting for you at Thoroughbred Ford. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. Another change for the Royals as they bat in the 7th inning. And Jorge Soler, who was called up prior to the game tonight along with Ramon Torres. He'll bat for Brandon Moss. And the Tigers have a new pitcher, right-hander Drew Verhagen, who allowed a run in 1 inning yesterday.
Fastball 90 to 96, curve change. 6'6". He's a big lad. ERA a little bit higher than he wants. Opponent average more than he wants.
2-0 on Soler. This is his 3rd time with the Royals this year. He began the year on the disabled list. Called up, sent back to AAA, returned to the Royals for a short period of time, and then back to AAA, and he ended up hitting 24 home runs for the Storm Chasers, including 11 in his last 30 games.
Well, we knew he had power, and he was supposed to be a part of the home run record this year. You know, when they traded him for Wade Davis, they believed that he would have been a regular in there, but he just had an injury in spring training. He never really got on track till the end.
Now Mondesi hits for the first time. Mondesi singled Saturday against the Twins. Going back to his last time with the Royals, he had been 0 for his last 18 at the major league level. That goes all the way back to April 12th. 1-2 against Verhagen. One down. Verhagen pitched the 8th yesterday. He gave up a home run to Alcides Escobar. That was leading off the 8th inning. The Royals hit 3 home runs yesterday, winning 7-6. They have 1 tonight, but the Tigers have 4 home runs. Line foul by Alex. He is 0 for 2. Well, you got to give the Tiger bullpen a lot of credit tonight. The bullpen took over 1 batter into the game. Whit Merrifield hit a ground ball off of Anibal Sanchez right calf to open the game. Sanchez could not continue. And so Brad Ausmus went to his pen. He brought in a recent call up, Miles J. He went 2 innings. Blaine Hardy went 2 2/3 innings. Daniel Stumpf 1 inning. And now Drew Verhagen in the 7th. One ball, 2 strikes. But right away, you said that wasn't a good thing for the Royals. Sanchez coming out.
I didn't feel it. I'm telling you, I was disappointed because they have good track record on Sanchez. They know what he threw. He's been giving it up a lot, gives up home runs left and right. That was our game on paper. But you know, the game's not played on paper. And Whitley hit it right off of his ankle or above his ankle.
His calf.
Okay.
Caught by Kinsler. Double play. Inning over. One run in the 6th inning. He stays on for the bottom of the 7th. Cricket gives us something to smile about, and that is Major League strikeout number 1 for Andres Machado, getting James McCann. And then Machado, after the dugout was yelling at him to throw them the baseball. And there it is.
See Wakamatsu?
Who knows what's going to happen in Andres Machado's career? That's his first strikeout.
Yeah, we don't know, but I hope. There's Drew getting his first base glove working. I hope he factors in the back end of that bullpen here real soon. That's what you got to hope. Guy with a nice arm like that. Got the master mechanic Dave Island going to work with him.
Deep to left field. Gone. Jacoby Jones hits his second home run of the year, or of the game, his third of the year. And the Tigers have 5 in the first 7 innings against the Royals.
Jacoby Jones going to find his name in that lineup more often. Manager Brad Osmus looking for a few good young players out there. And this guy's got some pop. Man, that's an easy swing, too. Just turned on it. That ball's elevated. It's on the inner half. That's an excellent swing. And his home run off of Vargas, he supplied the power to the opposite field, the first home run of the game he hit.
That is Dixon Machado batting for Iglesias. Drew Butera is playing at first base with Gallagher taking over behind the plate. Iglesias also homered tonight for Detroit. And now Andrew Romine will hit for Kinsler. Romine played in left field yesterday. He has played all over the field this year.
He's one of my favorite players too, so put him on the list of 300 others. He's 301. Because I love the fact that he can do all that and has a great attitude. Can run as well. He can do it all. He hasn't caught, I don't think, in his career, but he's done everything else. And he could catch.
Yeah, it's one thing to play all those positions, but he has started at all those positions.
That's right. He can start and not hurt his team.
At least one game at first base, second base, third base, shortstop, and all 3 positions in the outfield. Butera makes a lunging play over at first, 2 down. The last Tiger to start at that many positions in one season was Shane Halter back in 2000. Shane came up through the Royals organization. Mikey Matuk. This is his 2-run home run, which capped a 7-run second inning. That's our Honda play of the game. Jacoby Jones and Matuk both homered in that second inning. Hicks homered in the 4th. Iglesias homered in the 5th, and then Jones hit his second home run of the game in this inning.
Every hitter first ball swinging. They want to get that heater before the slider comes. Well, the Rays beat the Twins anyway, 2-1.
So there's a little bit of good news. Baltimore and New York are just in the bottom of the first inning. Still 0-2. The Angels will be at Oakland. So before the Angels even begin their game tonight, they're in a wild card tie with Minnesota. Still 0-2. And Texas, another team the Royals need to pass in the wild card. They are still waiting to get started in Atlanta. That was a game that was supposed to start 3 hours ago. Still 0-2 on Mikey Matuk. Changeup is pulled foul. So here's the updated wild card. The Angels and the Twins are tied for the second spot. The Yankees are at Baltimore. And Texas is still waiting to play in Atlanta. So the Royals, even though they're down by 10, at least for the moment, they picked up a half game. Way upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Through the right side. And Mikey Matuk is on base for the 4th time.
He just went down, hacked at that. That's a really good swing. That was a I'm going to hit it to right swing. He's impressed a lot of people this year. I would imagine he'll get a nod next year, depending on what they do. The Tigers have a long off season. We'll see the Tigers last week of the season at the K.
Slow roller to Cuthbert. And Butera, who's already made a diving play on defense in the inning, pulls it out of the dirt. Detroit adds a run on Jones' second home run of the game. They lead 12-2. The Royals have hit 1 home run. That was from Lorenzo Cain, and lost in everything that Detroit has done tonight. That was a record-tying home run for the Royals, 168 to tie the 1987 Royals. So 25 games to go after tonight, and the Royals should blow past the 1987 team. Mike Moustakas did not homer tonight, so he is still tied with Steve Balboni for the single season record.
Sanchez stays in the game, he homers, and we win. I'll try to let that go. No, it's over. Alex Wilson's got the ball now.
Maybe Mike Moustakas will break both records. Wilson will get Torres, Orlando, and Bonifacio. Torres, that'll drop in front of Jones in left center field. He did a nice job for the Royals, filling in when he was called up for the first time.
He was outstanding, and I love that. Look at that handsy hit right there. He knows himself. He's not going to go up there and overswing, and that's what impressed me about his first stint up here. And he filled in admirably. He played a little bit of second. He played some short and some third. Like him. He's a nice player because he can play all three of them spots and maybe more. Switch hitter, both sides of the plate. Well, I guess that's a switch hitter. Alex Wilson. Paulo, just 17 games this year. Wilson's got a slider. Sinker, slider, changeup. 89, 93, 94. On his heater, depending on how he's feeling. He's a veteran.
Two and one on Paulo. He had two good-looking swings in the Minnesota series, which would remind you of last year with a base hit to center field and a base hit to right. Now he chops it out to Machado, to Romine one, over to first, not in time. Good to see Paulo running like that, coming back from a broken leg. One on, one out. Coming up on Saturday, the Royals will be hosting the Twins, and make sure to get to the ballpark early. The first 10,000 fans through the gates receive a Royals sweatshirt blanket presented by Farmland. This blanket is made with soft sweatshirt material and is perfect for the cooler autumn months. In fact, you might even need it that night. Visit Royals.com, an area price chopper location, or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Bonifacio ran for Melky Cabrera in the 6th inning, so this is his first plate appearance. And he chops it out to Romine. The Tigers get another chance at a double play, and they did not turn this one.
That's right. Keep running the ball out, fellas. It's a way to hustle. We respect the game and respect the uniform you're wearing. That's right. There's no quit in these guys. That should have been a double play. Getting down the line. Watch him go. Not going to double me up. That's effort that Ned's talking about. Those are the things you look at in a game like this. How's he running? What's he doing? All those things.
Cam Gallagher hits for the first time. Wilson throws a strike.
Wilson has a pretty good sinker. That's why they're hitting the top of the ball.
He was one of the suspended players from that brawl with the Yankees. That ball kicks off the backstop and rolls all the way to the third base side, almost even with the third base bag in front of the Tiger dugout.
Look at Holiday. He's laughing. I don't know if I've ever seen a ball, a wild pitch go that far. Watch it.
Hit the corner of the bricks.
Holiday getting his run in.
When they built this ballpark, they wanted to achieve many things. One of them was they no longer wanted to be known as the ballpark with the smallest dugouts in the American League, which was the case at Old Tiger Stadium. I mean, they went overboard. These dugouts are about 4 times the size as the ones at Tiger Stadium.
Yep.
Romine backhands. Gallagher is out, and the Royals are scoreless in the 8th. Go. There it is. Behind a cloud, Hud.
Hey now, that's beautiful. I mean, bright. I like it.
Jason Hamill tomorrow against Matthew Boyd. So the deciding game of the series, the Royals will try and do here what they did in Minnesota, and that is win game 1 and then try and bounce back from a one-sided game in game 3. Brian Holiday bats for the first time. This is the 3rd inning for Machado. He gave up a run in the 6th on an RBI by John Hicks, who's waiting on deck. And he allowed a home run to Jones in the 7th. Vargas went 2 and gave up 7 runs, all in the 2nd inning, which began with what looked like a harmless hit batter.
Yep.
Trevor Cahill went 3 and allowed 3, and now Machado has given up 2 in 2 innings. 2 and 2. Bonifacio fades back and right and makes a waist-high catch.
Willie Mays catch.
Yeah. Every time the Royals turn a double play this year, the very next day McDouble sandwiches are only $1 at participating McDonald's in the greater KC, St. Joe, and Lawrence locations. Oh, and 1 on Hicks. John Hicks has driven in 3. He's hit one of the 5 Tiger home runs tonight. Deep left field. He has hit 2 of the 6 Tiger home runs tonight.
He's got some guys locked in. Jacoby Jones had his first career multi-homer game. Wow, look at that. He just turned on that. Nothing to it. I'm not sure. It looked like a little slider.
Yeah.
Had some movement down, but didn't catch a velocity on that. But his center cut in the middle.
It was 87 miles an hour, so it's not his fastball.
Yeah, that's his slider.
Torres slipped on the grass and still throws out Candelario, 2 down. He's grabbing his back. That's a good way to wrench your back.
Sure is.
Slipping on the grass like that. Back, maybe an oblique. Presley has driven in 1. The Tigers have scored in 6 of 8 innings. Inning over. John Hicks has driven in 4. He hits his 2nd home run of the game. And we go to the 9th.
Hosts Royals losing in this one, and coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Now it's a tough night for Jason Vargas once again. A season low in innings pitched, season high in runs, and we'll get you ready for the series finale, as this one seems to be following suit to what happened in Minnesota, at least so far, as the Royals had a bunch of 1-run wins and now a couple of blowouts, in just the 2nd time they have allowed 6 home runs in a game since 2007. The other was last year against Detroit. Guys, we'll see you on Boulevard Royals Live in HUD. Yeah, I mean, if you want to stay and do the whole show, by all means.
Hey, come on. I'm looking forward to your show, Joel. I always do.
No, I know, but we'll give you a night off.
Their big league debut for a Tigers pitcher, Victor Alcantara. Artie Lewicki, who started yesterday, made his big league debut.
Heads up. He's a hard thrower, mid to 100. Slider, changeup. Whoa. Okay, now that's 93, but scouting report I'm looking at here says he's got a lot of natural sinking movement to his fastball and can reach upper 90s in 100. But maybe not.
Hey, that's staying with the ball.
He's got it all on camera too.
He was a long way away from where that ball landed, but he ended up getting a souvenir. That ball hit the upper deck, landed in the lower deck, took a big bounce off the concrete, and he was ready for it. Follow the ball. That applies in a lot of sports.
Be the ball.
Everybody gave up on this ball down in the lower level, HUD, but not this guy.
Ooh, yeah, went right to it, didn't he? Forgot his belt.
Off speed and a strikeout. So Victor Alcantara begins his big league career with a strikeout, and that ball, I imagine, will end up in the Tiger dugout. Brian Holiday says, let's exchange that baseball. So there it is. Coming up on September the 11th, Fox Sports Kansas City will present a special telecast honoring our armed forces. We call it This One's for You. And that night we'll link up live with soldiers from the 35th Infantry Regiment of the Missouri and Kansas National Guards. Machado throws out Cuthbert. So this one's for you, coming up on September the 11th right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. And now Jorge Soler for a second time tonight.
I haven't seen an upper 90s fastball from Alcantara, have you?
No.
Okay.
But I see a tough arm angle for a right-hand batter.
Oh, I definitely see some funky delivery there. Some deception.
Soler walked back in the 7th inning. And now he's hit with a pitch that was 84 miles an hour. And Soler says, put that on your mantle. He's got his first big league strikeout and his first big league hit batter.
He did.
Put them side by side.
Ball boy just threw it in the ball bag. So apparently that's not a keepsake.
Alcantara is not from the Tigers organization. He came up in the Angels system and was traded this offseason for Cameron Maben. Mondesi struck out in his first at bat. It did not occur in the best of circumstances, but the Royals tied the all-time home run record when Lorenzo Cain homered in the 6th, the team's 168th, tying the 1987 team. Mondesi hits a shot into right field. The Royals are on pace to have just under 200 home runs this year. And the only Royal that's been in there all night will come to the plate with 2 on and 2 out in the 9th inning. Alex Gordon. Machado calls off Candelaria and makes a catch. So the Tigers put an end to a 5-game losing streak. They even the series at 1 game apiece. And now the Royals are 3-2 on this road trip, with the deciding game coming up tomorrow night. We'll be right back.